Hey, you guys, welcome to the show. It's Black Conservative here, and yes, you heard that right. Black Conservative, and no, I'm not a coon. No, I'm not an Uncle Tom. No, I'm not a race trader. Yes, I am black. This is not some random white guy trying to pretend to be black over the screen. I have, whatever you want. You can add me on Snapchat. But today, before we get into anything, I want to make it clear that this is a right-leaning channel, and even though it is a right-leaning channel, the goal of the channel is not to really promote conservatism, but to promote just different ideals inside the black community and throughout, because hence the name of the channel. Black people are chained down to liberalism and liberal ideas, and once you defer or defect from those ideas, you get called those nasty names like cool, Uncle Tom, all that stuff that I just mentioned before, and it's really terrible. And it's just like, no matter how terrible Democrats or just socialist ideals have destroyed the black community, there's an undying, unquestionable loyalty that the black folk gives to Democrats, and it's just time to start promoting some different types of ideals, at least, if not just switching over conservative, at least just to start thinking, hey, we need to start putting different ideals, putting different ideas in than the norm, because the norm is not working. If you look up anywhere in the country where black people are doing the worst, Chicago, Detroit, New York, Philadelphia, my hometown, it's all ran by Democrats. Literally, every single one. It's undeniable what's going on. Now that we got that out of the way, today we're going to start a show called Hot Topic, where we discuss hot topics and hot discussions that are impacting not just the black community, but America in general, maybe even the world. But, being conservative, I like to focus on American problems. And the show will be called Hot Topic. And today's hot topic is, why aren't black people conservative? Why aren't black people able to see the problems with socialism, even though they are the ones who've been tragically disenfranchised by liberal principles, liberal ideals, and just socialism in general? It doesn't take. I live in Philadelphia, people. It's trash. It's disgusting. It's really an example of what happens when you promote nasty behavior, and instead of trying to correct that behavior, giving them some money. And that's not even just the black community. That's just all over the city. It's terrible. But once again, we're going to get to, why aren't black people conservative? The first reason why black people aren't conservative is that, sadly, conservatism is the most recent ideology used to disenfranchise a specific group of people, specifically black people. People have to remember, civil rights period was from about like 1954 to 1968. If you subtract 2018 by 1968, that's 50 years. That's 50 years ago. Now, don't get me wrong, we have extreme progress. It's nothing, absolutely nothing like before, but that's not far. That's somebody's grandma. That's somebody's grandma who just recently experienced that. That's somebody's parent who just experienced the horrors of real extreme racism. Not slavery, but extreme racism. And let's just get one thing clear. Any ideology, not just conservatism, can be used negatively. Racists, they like what they like of conservatism. I wouldn't even call that conservatism. That's just being far right. But what they would try to say conservatives, if they like conservatism because no government oversight, so they can treat people however they want. No taxes, so they don't have to like help out others at all. That's why they like that type. That's why the stuff they like. I can't even really explain why they even like conservatism, but basically it's mostly because less government oversight, the more they get to do, and the less they have anybody else telling them, hey, you can't treat people like that. I can't really go into detail what else they like because of conservatism, because I really haven't met anybody in person racist. Anybody in person. Or at least not to me, because I snap. But anyway, conservatism being used, or at least a form of conservatism, extreme conservatism being used on black people, has scared them away from the ideology. It's to the point where they feel that's the only ideology, because conservatism in America has been so linked to races that it feels like if you dare even try to look up what conservatism is, or even have a political mindset that slightly not even leans right but just tilts to the right, you're looked at upon as supporting the races or aligning yourselves with people who ideology was used to negatively affect you and your family for generations. And that's understandable. You have to, for those who really can't understand, that's understandable to a degree, to a point. But for the older generation, like the 80s babies, the grandmothers, grandpas, baby boomers, that's understandable. This generation, my generation, has absolutely no excuse. Like I said before, I never am, excuse me for that, I'm sorry, but I've never personally in my face even experienced racism. I never had to feel uncomfortable with a room full of white people. I never had to go in a restaurant and worry, hey, am I not allowed to eat here? I never had to. I could walk outside with a white woman right now, and absolute nothing would happen to me. 20, even maybe even 15 years ago, I could have possibly been killed for that. And just the progress that we have now, and our ability to, in the black community, our ability to finally be free, more free than any other generation before us, it is up to us to really start having a voice, differentiation in the community, to really just point out the wrongs that's going on in our community. And a lot of the wrongs is socialism. It goes straight back to socialism. Now, going into the details of the fact that in America, racism is associated with being conservative, even though it's not at all. Black people black people ourselves keep each other from having any ideas different from liberals. Not even just different ideas, period. If you are not liberal, you are not black in the black community. You are a coon, you are a Uncle Tom, you are master's best friend, you are all types of horrible things and horrible names they will call you. It's not even just being conservative. If you disagree on anything, and I mean anything, liberal, Democrat ideas, even if you have scientific evidence that it's freaking horrible, you will be ostracized from the black community. We have a prime example with the whole Kanye West situation. And let's get one thing facts here, guys. Kanye West is not conservative. He's not. I don't know what he's doing. He probably is just free thinking or whatever, but he's not conservative. I doubt he's conservative, but whatever. Just in that, look at exactly how he's getting treated now. Not even saying horrible things like, oh, Mexicans are terrible people, blah, blah, blah. Just saying that he likes Donald Trump and that he doesn't think that liberals or liberal ideals are good, which they're not at all. Doesn't take a blind man to see that. A blind man can see that actually. And he's getting attacked not just by social media, the liberal establishment, black people. He's getting attacked publicly by black celebrities. And Snoop Dogg is a prime example of this. Snoop Dogg, we want to look at this right here. This post right here. Look at this. The new Kanye. Well, all white now. Way to go, dude. He took down actually a couple posts, but this one he kept up. Other ones was worse. Look at this. Let's go in the comment section. Look at this nonsense. Look at this nonsense. Liberal bias all the way. So much liberal bias it doesn't even make sense. There's some people with common sense in the section, but it's mostly liberal bias all the way in here, and it's just absolutely disgusting. It's monstrous how people actually think that just like in America, conservatism is being linked with races. For some reason, liberalism has been linked to being black. Therefore, if you are not liberal in people's minds, you are not black. You lose your so-called black card. And it's disgusting. It's disgusting. And it's what's the most ironic thing about the whole situation. Before Donald Trump was president, he was embraced immensely by the black community. Immense. He was all over. He was on Will Smith's Fresh Prince. He was in songs mentioned by Ray Shremmer, Up Like Trump. He was all around the black community. He was only suddenly now, which is amazing. Suddenly now, in the public eye, is black celebrities trying to separate themselves from him as if they was never cool with him. Let's get one thing facts right here, right now. One thing you can say about Trump is consistent on his personality. Trump has been the same person, the same way since God only knows. So is it really that you're offended by Trump, or are you offended by how are you actually offended by Trump, or are you just don't want to be associated with him in the public eye so you can stay on the cool side of liberalism, on the cool side of liberal media and all that. A prime example of this hypocrisy in the black community, especially black celebrities, to support Democrats over, let's say, Republicans or just Trump, for example. A prime example of this is Jay-Z. We actually have a clip of his interview with a CNN. I forgot his name. I don't even listen to the guy. He gets on my nerves. But we got this little clip of Jay-Z talking about how he's so appalled by the things Trump say and the things Trump do.
I want to talk to you a little bit about this because, as a parent, trying to raise black kids with all the positivity we give them, we have a president that comes and says every African country is a shithole country. Mm-hmm. I mean, how does that land with you as a dad?
Yeah, it's disappointing and it's hurtful. It really is hurtful, more so. Like everyone feels anger, but after the anger, it's really hurtful because you're looking down on a whole population of people, and you're so misinformed because these places have beautiful people and have beautiful everything. Yeah. And it's just like this is the leader of the free world speaking like this. But on the other side, this has been going on. Yeah. This is how people talk. This is how they talk behind closed doors.
Now, people like Jay-Z really anger me in the black community because people like Jay-Z like to paint Trump as some monster, some racist, some horrible person, and that's just not the case. One, let's get some facts out of the way. One, majority of Africa is in severe poverty. That's undeniable. That's undeniable facts. You can't deny it. There's no way possible you can deny that. If you deny that, you are denying facts. It's oh, it's beautiful. Of course, it's beautiful places, beautiful places everywhere. That doesn't mean that that doesn't that doesn't take away from the fact that still the majority of Africa is terrible. Now, is it really is shithole a word that the president of the United States should be using? Probably not. Probably not. But it's Trump. Trump doesn't really. Trump says what's on top of his mind. He doesn't just say what you want to hear. Saying that Africa is a shithole is not racist. It may be ignorant, it may be hurtful, but it's not racist. There's no other way you can try to disagree with that. The poverty rate is almost 50%. There are more people in poverty in Africa than there are people in the United States. Now, you may say, oh, you're comparing a country to a continent, blah, 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 blah. That's the entire continent. If you single out to the countries, that percentage gets even worse. Like that percentage of people who are in poverty in, like, let's say South Africa, all that stuff, that percentage grows immensely. So that just takes away from the argument trying to say that, oh, you can't compare continents to a country. And that's the continent is doing more bad than any other continent. There's no way you can take away from that fact. Now, you get the woke black people about to come into the comment section saying, oh, colonialism, blah, 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 all this stuff. The leaders of Africa are terrible. They are racist. They are greedy. They are not for the people. They are not helping the people, or any of that. So putting the blame on strictly colonialism is just not, it's not factual. There's no way you can point that as the singular reason to why Africa is doing bad, because it's not. That's unfactual. No matter how much you try to say that. And people like Jay-Z, who just like to push on this whole, oh, Trump is racist because of that. Trump says mean things that makes him racist. Let me point y'all out to something. There's a difference between being ignorant and being racist. Being ignorant is something like, oh man, all Asian people look the same. Now that's something ignorant. Is that racist? No, not really, because let's be factual here. You go to Asia, you go to China. What's going on? How many of y'all can point out the difference between somebody who's from Japan and somebody from China if they were standing right in front of you? Be honest. Be honest with yourself. Because I'm going to be honest, I probably can't. Not saying that that's okay to say or that's something cool, but that's just how it is. Some people look alike. Of course, they're going to look alike. They from a certain area that's very close. So that's not surprising. But there's a difference between being ignorant and racism. Racism is, oh, I don't like that person just because they're Asian. I don't like that person just because they're black. I don't like that person just because they're white. You can be ignorant without being racist. There is a difference, and there is you can be both, but you can also be one without being the other. So that's just, Jay-Z, just people like him and people in the black community just like to use that as, oh, Trump's racist. Trump saying the fact is racist. And I'm sorry, the fact can't be racist, people. It just can't. It may hurt your feelings, but it can't be racist. Okay, let's talk about the second reason why black people aren't conservative. The second reason why black people aren't conservative in terms of politics, because we're very conservative in terms of like this culture and things like that. Most cultures are very conservative. But anyway, why a majority of black people aren't conservative in terms of politics is really because the ideology of conservatism calls for, one, it calls for individualism, and two, it calls for people to take responsibility for their own actions. And what liberals and have done is and and what liberals have done is they 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 give excuses. They allow people to give excuses for why their life isn't going the way they want to. And before, that would make sense. Like I said earlier in the video, 50 years ago, even 30 years ago, things like racism, all that would have really been a logical reason for why a black man, a black woman just aren't doing good in life. There was people really holding black people back. Now, once again, for this generation, that's not the case at all. You are the only person who's holding yourself back. You are the only person in your way majority of the times. And conservatism calls for you to take responsibility for that. With the liberal ideology, you can blame things on like the patriarchy, racism, white supremacy. You can blame it on all types of other things, like and you can blame it on anything and then slap privilege on it afterwards, and then that's the reason why you aren't successful or something like that. With and black people have got attached to that, and a lot of reason why young people are usually liberal. It's very scary to take responsibility. It's very scary to it takes a strong person to accept the fact that, hey, I'm the one who's doing something wrong. I'm doing something. I need to focus on me and do better and change my life. It takes a lot. It takes a lot. It takes a lot for that, because people don't really want to do that. People don't really want to take charge of their own lives a lot. People like the fact that they can blame something on something else, and in some cases, yes, it is that. But in Western society, we have focused on the individual and focused on being yourself. So this generation of black people, my generation of black people, you get to be yourself. You get to be yourself in public. You get to be anything you want to. It's absolutely nothing a black person in this generation can't do. So that ideology wise is why a lot of black people aren't conservative. Also, socialism attracts those who I don't want to say nothing negative really, or take something out of context, but it attracts people who I would say want to do less, who feel like they shouldn't have to do as much as somebody else, really. And over and over again, even though socialist policies have shown that they do absolutely nothing for the black community except harm, it's hard to turn away, because you're getting free money. You're getting money from somebody else. You're getting opportunities from somebody else. That's exactly what socialism is. It's taking stuff from somewhere else and giving it to others. There's no way for the government to evenly distribute resources, because some people need more than others, and others don't work as much, and they'll be getting as much as somebody who work hard, and that's not fair. That's not right. But what the black community, what we've gotten used to is we've gotten used to a handout. We've gotten used to affirmative action, government grants, all this other crap that really haven't done absolutely nothing for the community except harm. One thing with woke black people, they like to say that, oh, we need resources, we need land, we need blah blah blah, this, that, and the third. And over again, socialist policies have showed that that's not really the case. Just giving you money, giving you land, does not mean you're going to be economically or socially successful. You see that in the Native American population. Just giving somebody land, giving somebody money does not create success. It doesn't. If that person does not have the mindset or know what to do with that money or things like that, or just really haven't earned it, they might feel like, oh, I've just gotten it. I can get it again. But a lot of people don't realize you can't just be given things. And Native Americans, that's a different story though. They wasn't just given it; they that was taken away, and the government gave some back. But once again, you go to Native American communities, and they're terrible. They're actually doing worse than black people, and they have all that land. They have a nice patch of land. I don't really know what the largest reservation is, but it's huge. It's huge. Just giving somebody land does not mean giving them somebody resources and land and all these things that constantly woke black people like to say that they need. That doesn't mean you're going to be successful. It doesn't mean it's going to put you where you need to be. It can help, but over and over again, these socialist policies have shown that they do not work. Period. And if they do not work, and it's shown that it hasn't worked for the last 50 years in the black community, then there's really no reason to keep and continue to vote for specifically one group of people with a certain ideals, and they completely control your community, and every single thing that's happening bad in the black community is also happening where these people are in control of the government. Now, woke black people, once again, we keep going back to them. They like to say, "Oh, what are Republicans going to do for me? What are Republicans going to give me?" Republicans, conservatives, we are not socialists. I don't believe that I should just give you something. That's not the way I view the world, or view how the government should work to do things. Just giving you something, I don't know. That's not what you do. What conservatives do, we try to make it evenly as possible, so that if you choose to go down the success route, you can go and build your own success. We're not just going to give you success, because you can't just give people success. People have to make success for their own. You can give somebody some money. Look at it like this: you can give somebody some money, and that you can get. Let's say you get two people with some money. You get equally amount of money. That one person, you get some money, he go and blow it. He does nothing with it. That other person, he go and invest it. He go and make more money. He double the money that he triple it. That's the mindset. That's what it is. You can't. Not everybody knows what to do with money. Not everybody knows what to do with resources. Just giving people resources does not mean success. And that's the problem with socialism, because they believe that, oh, if I give this person, they'll know what to do with it. They'll just do what they're supposed to do. Conservatives, we understand that trusting people and trusting the government fully is wrong. You cannot trust people to always do what's best, and neither can you always trust the government to do what's best. So you have to. There's just certain things you're just going to have to deal with, and liberals, they can't fathom that. They can't fathom with the idea that poverty is something that's just going to happen. They can't fathom that there are homeless people out here who did that to themselves. In the liberal mind, it somehow it was a racist. It was the rich. It was patriarchy. It was whatever. There's other reasons why this person became unsuccessful. There's no way that person did it to themselves, and that's wrong. And that's what the mindset that they have stuck in the black community, and a huge reason why we are suffering to this day. I want y'all to give me in the comments, give me some other reasons why you think that the black community has been destroyed, or why you don't think black people are conservative. And what do you think about, like, people, what's going on now? You see a lot on Twitter. You see like Candace Owens and Jordan Peterson. He's attracting a lot of black people over to the right. Ben Shapiro and all them. It's a lot of black people starting to come to this realization that this isn't working. We need to do something else. And so, give me a comment. Give me a in the comment section. Tell me what you think, and let us know. Alright guys, I really appreciate you watching. If you really did enjoy the video, please give us a like and a subscribe. Also, you can follow us on Instagram at Politically Unchained. That's POLITICALLYUNCHAINED. Also, you can follow us on Twitter. That's Politically POLITCALLYU. Follow us on Twitter and on Instagram so you can enjoy the conversations with the other followers and subscribers. And once again, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the show. We'll be back up maybe 2 weeks from now. 2 weeks. I try to post a video every 2 weeks. Thank you, and I appreciate you.